Hey everybody, welcome on into Friday Night Football, brought to you by Steve's Hometown Toyota in Ontario. It is September 25th, and the Capital High football team has yet to play a football game. That is, as of this morning. No team in the state of Idaho has been more patient than the Eagles. Earlier this week, I caught up with legendary head coach Todd Simmis to find out how tough this wait has been on his team. Okay, we don't have that for you. Either way, I'll just paraphrase what Todd told all of us. You know, it has been a brutal year for the Capital Eagles. As I just mentioned, they are the last team in the state of Idaho to actually get the chance to kick off their season. But today, Capital would enjoy today. To the highlights we go. Let's make history. Capital hosting their first ever varsity football game on campus. Coach Simmis told his boys yesterday to cherish the day, and they're going to remember this one for quite some time. In the first, Cade Larson puts pressure on the quarterback. Simmis says that Capital's motto this year is pound the rock. Well, here, Skyview coughs up the rock. Josh Summers recovers the fumble. From there, Max Clark, making his first varsity start at QB, just strolls into the end zone. It's not supposed to look that easy, bud. 16-zip Eagles. A little later in the first, Clark goes to the air. Jackson Reed finding that soft spot behind the defense. He's committed to Seattle U to play baseball. The kid does everything well. You can tell right there. 22-0 Eagles out in front. Now Capital would go back on D, but they wouldn't be there for long. You heard a Gurka stick. How about Gurka pick? It's Larson again. Capital blows out Skyview. They notched their first win in their first game, 55-6 the final. Up next, we head to Timberline. Senior night. Yep, it's only game number 2, but the Wolves already having to honor their elders. Hey, only in 2020, right? We pick it up in the second quarter. Max Spielman rolls to his right, buys time, and then drops a bomb to Anthony Bridges. T-line rolling. It was 22-0 at halftime. Boise would try to find some momentum themselves, and to start the third, they drive down deep inside the red zone, but on fourth down, they turn it over. You know what? This Timberline defense only allowed 6 points last week. They only allowed a pair of scores today. Going the other way now, Spielman continuing to air it out. Lavin Garrett takes a licking but keeps on ticking, gets the puppies down inbounds, and that would set up this. Taylor Markham's going to have a big year. Only a junior. Here, he goes right up through the defense, pushes a couple of guys out of the way, and scores what's at least his second touchdown of the season. He had one last week, too. Timberline rolls past Boise, 49-13 the final.
The Rocky Mountain football team's on a roll right now, Jordan. You guys are undefeated so far this season. When you watch your style, when you watch your effort, it's noticeable that your team has this connected bond. Where does that come from?
We've been playing together ever since elementary school at recess. A lot of us have. You know, we played on the same Optimist team together, same middle school team. And even those that weren't on those teams, we've known each other ever since elementary school. And, I think that chemistry is where it comes from. On that note, how long has this group of guys looked forward to playing varsity football at Rocky Mountain together? Ever since first grade, ever since we first met each other, it's been the dream. Practice is a blast. Everyone's always laughing, dancing, it's fun. You look at your own personal career, I feel like you've been on varsity football forever now, but your role on this year's team has changed a little bit. You're less of that traditional running back, and it seems like they're kind of utilizing you in a multitude of ways now. What do you think on this role? Honestly, I like it. It's definitely different than not just playing just a normal running back, but I'm learning a lot. We got a great coach, Coach Souza. He taught us a lot. Not just technique-wise receiver, but also, learning defenses, how to attack them, how to beat them, all that stuff. So it's been good. What is your favorite way to get the ball in your hands? Because I look at it on the fly sweep sometimes, and you can almost tell it's going to be a big play before it even happens. I would say the fly sweep. I love the fly sweep. Just kind of lets me get in space and
show off my speed.
What goes through your mind when you see a little open field in front of you?
Heaven. But I mean, it's a blast being out there and, having dudes block for you. It's awesome.
You clearly already received some interest to play at the next level. What are you hoping to achieve over the rest of your senior year, and what do you think college football looks like for yourself?
Honestly, right now, I'm just trying to enjoy. I mean, we're grateful to have this last senior season, so I'm just trying to enjoy that at the moment. At the end of it, we'll just, it'll take care of itself, hopefully. And I think my dream right now is Division I, for sure.
You look at the season so far, you guys are on a bye week this week. You're 3-0. What do you think this Rocky Mountain football team's capable of achieving this fall?
The dream's always state championship, but right now we just got to take the game one by one and prepare for CUNA and then prepare for Meridian and then prepare for the playoffs.
All right, Rocky Mountain sitting pretty at 3-0. They're the third-ranked team in the 5A classification. You can see Eagle hanging on to the 5th spot there after the Grizz beat the Mustangs last week. Both those teams are going to be in the thick of this thing, but both of them also enjoying a bye this evening. Well earned, fellas. With that in mind, the highest-ranked local 4A or 5A team started the year unranked, but the way they've been playing, you just can't ignore them any longer. For the second time this year, Will Hall got an up-close look at the Valley View Falcons, man, the Falcons are flying high right now.
Yeah, JT, they certainly are. The biggest question heading into this season for Valley View is how do you replace legendary standout quarterback Lan Larison, of course, now down at UC Davis with Coach Hawk? Well, the answer to that question we are finding out very quickly so far this season is with Casey Cope, and he has been tremendous early on. 4 games into the year. Valley View hosting Caldwell tonight, trying to improve to 5-0. Let's go ahead and get to the highlights from earlier this evening. It was a phenomenal show for Cope and the Falcons offense tonight. We're going to pick things up in the second quarter. Cope going to the corner of the end zone, connecting with Lincoln Marler for the score. That's not the last time we would see that duo in these highlights. JT, I'll get it back to you for the rest of these.
We continue along here, Valley View capitalizing here. Check out this pass, just dropping it in the bucket. Cope looking good. 24-0 following that touchdown, and after another stop, well, it was back to the air. This duo hooking up once again. Another long touchdown pass, another score for Valley View. They continue to roll 54-0. The final of this one, Will.
JT, they were tremendous tonight. We're going to stay in the 4A SIC, head on over to Ridgeview. Ridgeview was hosting Middleton tonight. JT, I'll let you take the highlights.
Yeah, the Vikings already up 7 at the break, but the Warhawks defense, pesky in the third. Check it out. That's Sky with the fumble recovery. Then Tate Johannesson here. Well, he would have to pick things up on offense. Check this out, marching along there. And actually, it's another turnover, an interception there. And it's the Warhawks coming up with a stand. So Ridgeview would turn it over, though, going the other way. And it's Kai McClure with the touchdown pass to Nick Pitkin here for Middleton, capitalizing, and another one right here, right before the halftime. Middleton goes on to beat Ridgeview tonight, 42-21. The final. And Will, I gotta ask you, I'm gonna have you join us really quick here. Middleton looks good, but they lost last week to Valley View, and Valley View right now, I mean, are they serious 4A title contenders?
JT, I knew you were going to ask me this question, and I'm kind of angry at you because I was thinking about how I'm supposed to answer this question. Man, the 4A SIC has some really, really good football teams. It is going to be a battle all the way to the end. You think about Valley View, they're off to a 5-0 start. They took down Middleton last week in a close game. Those two are always right there in the thick of things at the end of the regular season, but then you also have to take into account Emmett's off to a great start. Bishop Kelly's off to a great start. Those 4 teams we just mentioned are all going to be duking it out all the way to the end of the regular season, but right now, Valley View out to a 5-0 start to the season. I tell you what, Casey Cope, he has been tremendous. I mean, he's done a fantastic job filling in for Lan Larison, making sure that offense keeps its foot on the gas pedal and continues to keep things rolling.
I tell you, Will, I might have shortchanged the Valley View football team. Lan Larison was very impressive last year and in many cases carried them. But the Falcons were ready to carry the flag, if you will. They've looked great so far this year. Will, we'll check back in with you in just a minute. In the meantime, though, you talked about some of those 4A teams. Let's get to some more highlights. The Emmett Huskies have been outstanding so far this year. Tonight, they hosted Nampa. The Bulldogs would start out with the ball on offense, and here it's Ryan Schuler here with the big gain right up the gut. Eventually, they'd bring him down. But the Pups couldn't stop him from there because after that, Nampa goes to the air. Isaac Plew has huge shoes to fill with Donovan Estrada graduating from a year ago, but he drops this one in the bucket to Jacob Butler. Nampa goes on top 7-0. Now the Huskies would come back the other way, and their do-it-all quarterback has been outstanding so far this year. He makes his way up through the defense, spins his way over the goal line, and into the end zone. That knotted the game up at 7. Emmett attempts the 2-point conversion, but it fails, and that would be a difference maker in this game. Nampa goes on the road and squeaks out a 1-point victory. 41-40 the final. Big road win by the Bulldogs. All right, up next, Bishop Kelly hosting Columbia this evening. You know, both the Knights and Wildcats are coming off lopsided wins from a week ago. We pick it up here in the third. BK already up 38-7. There's more where that came from. Luke Legaretta knocks down the pass to force a Wildcat punt. And there's Seth Noth scoring yet again. This guy's having an awesome season. That made it 45-7. So here we go. Jason Buss with a great run for the Knights. It sets up a field goal. But this is where things get a little weird. The trickeration. That's Leighton Blythe that scores the special teams touchdown. This made it 52-7 in the third. Bishop Kelly rolls past Columbia, 52-7 the final. So after a rough opening week loss, the Knights with back-to-back wins and firmly asserting themselves right back into the race to potentially contend for a 4A division title. So we'll see how that goes. But back out to you, Will, because an interesting week. You know, we knew this week was coming when the 5A decided to redo the pods almost in the middle of the season or the beginning of the season. Kind of an awkward bye. It felt like a light night at the 5A level because most of the teams in West Ada and in Kuna, had a bye week, and they actually have another one in 2 weeks. But Will, just kind of an awkward feeling at the 5A level tonight. Two afternoon games too. I mean, just a weird Friday at the 5A level. Only 2020 could sum up, I guess.
Absolutely, JT. Yeah, it was a little unique. It was a little weird being over at Capitol for a 4 o'clock kickoff for that one. I'm curious. I want to talk with Coach Simis and the players after today's game to get their thoughts on what it was like kicking off an afternoon kickoff at 4 o'clock compared to playing under the lights at 7 o'clock over at Donna Larson Park. Nonetheless, didn't let him affect him. I was really impressed with Capitol's big-time statement win over Skyview to kick off the season. Obviously, JT, as you mentioned at the top of the show, Capitol, the last high school football team in the state of Idaho to kick off the season, but you wouldn't know it. They look like a team that was in week 4, week 5. They had things clicking on all cylinders. They were rolling. Got another good chance to check out Timberline. Timberline looked fantastic in their win tonight against Boise. They have some weapons on offense, but their defense, man, they make some plays as well. They bow their necks. They force turnovers. They're kind of gritty. They take on that persona of head coach Ian Smart. But yeah, it was unique. It was a little weird, but no complaints because in all honesty, JT, these afternoon kickoffs for the Boise School District schools, it allows us to get to more games, which gives us more highlights for the viewers in our community. And I think everyone enjoys that at the end of the day. So,
by the way, when Will says we get to more games, it just means that Will works even harder to bring you more highlights. Hustled his butt off tonight, folks, working hard. He got the 4 games today, including those early games. Will, I do want to go back to Timberline really quick. is Ian Smart building something there? Because they lost a pretty good quarterback last year in Andy Peters, but 2-0, 2 very decisive victories despite all the adversity. It feels like Timberline might be building something there.
Yeah, absolutely. Wherever Ian Smart goes, he has success. And he's doing a tremendous job early on with this program over at Timberline. And you're seeing it now in this season, off to a 2-0 start to the year. And I think entering this game, I think they're starting to develop an identity. On offense, it was ground and pound. We're going to wear you down, get some rushing scores. We have one of the best running backs in the state in Taylor Markham, who's rushed for over 1,000 yards last year as a sophomore, and he's proved he's going to be capable of getting close to that. I don't know if they're going to play as many games as they would last year, but you know what I'm trying to say. But also the Wolves defense, man, they are phenomenal. They have a lot of playmakers, especially in that back end, but also up front, they're stout, especially against the run. 2 weeks in a row, they have made plays, they have made turnovers, and they have stepped up when they needed to. And I think they're sort of developing an identity as a program moving forward. Big credit, hat off to Ian Smart and company and his entire coaching staff. JT, I don't know if you knew, I didn't know Bo Martin is on his staff.
Yeah.
And I ran into Bo on the sidelines tonight. I was like, You know JT, we love Bo Martin, and he's a legendary Bronco, and it was great to run into him on the sidelines tonight. I didn't know he was on the staff until tonight, and I kind of feel like an idiot now, but yeah, it was great to run into Bo as always.
When you say you ran into Bo, you mean figuratively, not literally, right? Well, you're standing. You're standing, so
over me.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Hey, you bring it up, Will. I know that this is Friday night football, but we do have a football audience, and we had big news a little over 24 hours ago. Boise State football is returning, and it's about a month away, October 24th, 29 days away from Boise State kicking it off. Normally, the high school kids kind of have to share the spotlight this time of year with the Broncos. It is gleaned solely on the prep athletes so far this season, even amongst all the adversity. But I will say this, it is going to be good to have Boise State football back a month from now, right?
Yeah, JT, really happy for Coach Harsin, his staff, the entire program, all the players. They get to experience a football season this fall. You know, you and I have talked about it so often these last 3 weeks that we've seen college football being played and how weird it is for us just to watch and see that Boise State wasn't playing. And then multiply that by 50 or 100 or 1,000 for Coach Harsin and his staff and his players to be sitting in their apartments or their homes watching college football being played. And why can't we play? And finally, some good news for them, obviously. It'll be crazy to think that 4 weeks from basically, it's essentially Saturday. We're about an hour from Saturday.
Yeah.
So 4 weeks from now, they're going to be kicking off the season, which is just, I don't envy them from a preparation standpoint and getting ready to play a season or a regular season, but you know, that's why they get paid the big bucks, I guess. But no, yeah, it's great to have Boise State football back, and I think it adds a little momentum and juice, as Coach Harsin alluded to earlier today, to the community and the program and everyone.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Will, I appreciate it, buddy. I know it felt a little like fall out there. A few raindrops welcoming you to your efforts this evening. So apologize for those, but thanks, bud. Appreciate it, man.
You betcha. No worries, my man.
All right. By the way, more Boise State football coverage at KTVB.com right now. Some quick nuts and bolts for you here. Boise State is going to play an 8-game season. There's a chance they play a non-conference game, maybe playing BYU. The season kicks off on October 24th. Mountain West Championship game on December 19th. It's going to be a sprint to the finish for Mountain West teams, and student athletes are going to test 3 times a week. Best of luck trying to stay healthy and seeing this thing go off as good as it possibly can. But again, check out KTVB.com for more information on Boise State football. In the meantime, though, I know it got a little chilly this evening, so we're going to wrap this up by warming your hearts here. A really cool story. Check out this highlight, and we appreciate Idaho Sports for allowing us to use it. This is Isaac Mickelson of Skyline. He lives with spinal bifida, but he took the Grizzlies' very first handoff of the game and housed it 49 yards. And this is significant too, and it just shows you how cool this is. This is a 49-yard rushing touchdown, right? The Grizzlies would go on to shut out Bonneville tonight, 49-0. I'm just saying, I don't know there's too much of a significance in those numbers, but it's awfully weird, hours apart, that they match up perfectly. Kudos to both teams for allowing this awesome moment to happen, and a big-time victory by Skyline, who is one of the top teams in the 4A classification. They continue to have a great season. All right, that's going to do it for this edition of Friday Night Football, brought to you by Steve's Hometown Toyota in Ontario. Check out highlights right now at KTVB.com. And I know we didn't get to that Coach Simmons interview, but we'll get that online as well. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great rest of your Friday evening.